gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police, but I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's a Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video.
New York, a 15-year-old is under arrest after allegedly shooting a tourist in a store in Times Square and firing at police. Here's Erin McLaughlin.
Tonight in New York City, a 15-year-old wanted for opening fire on police officers in a crowded Times Square and shooting a tourist in the leg with a .45 caliber handgun, now in police custody.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? First, we had a group of 7 illegal aliens, illegal burrito gremlin aliens, putting hands and feet on New York's finest. And look at what we have now. They're shooting at police officers, and they happen to hit a woman, a U.S. citizen, a tax-paying citizen. And she is paying for her own demise in this case. Are you absolutely kidding me? Every American should be outraged by this action of these illegal aliens, and we should demand a complete overhaul of the border system right now. And we deserve mass deportation. I'm talking about everybody who came into this country under the Biden regime should be deported. No ifs, ands, or buts. This is what they're doing. This is what they represent. This is what they think about our country, and I'm sick and tired of it.
According to law enforcement.
Considering where these shootings took place, it's an actual miracle that we're not having a very different conversation right now.
Police say the teenage migrant recently arrived in New York from Venezuela in September. One of 3 teens who, according to police, entered a sporting goods store Thursday evening, stopped by a security guard for allegedly stealing clothes.
Our suspect takes out a .45 caliber handgun, a very large handgun, shoots at her into a crowd, striking a 37-year-old female tourist from Brazil.
Oh, so he shot a tourist. I mean, but still, I mean, how do you have a third world illegal alien shooting a woman who is visiting legally from a third world country? I mean, it's the irony in that is absolutely insane, but it could have been a U.S. citizen. So we need that anger. We need that passion. He was shooting at New York's finest. How are we not doing something about this?
The victim telling our affiliate WNBC she heard a loud bang before seeing blood dripping down her leg.
He had no problems firing into a crowd of the store, striking a tourist, not shooting at a cops once, shooting at them twice.
Police say the other 2 teens were also arrested. The incident now part of a troubling trend of moped robberies, snatches, and pickpocketing in New York City.
There are some Venezuelan groups of migrants. I say some.
Migrants? Why are they calling them migrants? These are illegal aliens. And then listen to him. He's treading lightly. Some, not all, but some. Dude, these super burrito gremlins are on demon time.
Not all that are affecting crime in our city.
Just yesterday, police releasing this video.
That was spineless in my opinion. The New York police officers, they need to call it how it is. This influx of illegal aliens has created an uptick in the crime. Period. Stop, walking on eggshells. We're not protecting these illegal aliens. They need to be deported like yesterday.
Allegedly showing a group including migrants kicking and punching 2 New York City police officers. 7 have been charged, with more believed to be on the run. Erin McLaughlin, NBC News, New York.
In New York, a 15-year-old is under arrest after allegedly shooting a tourist in a store in Times Square and firing at police. Here's Erin McLaughlin.
Tonight in New York City, a 15-year-old wanted for opening fire on police officers in a crowded Times Square and shooting a tourist in the leg with a .45 caliber handgun, now in police custody, according to law enforcement.
Considering where these shootings took place, it's an actual miracle that we're not having a very different conversation right now.
Police say the teenage migrant recently arrived in New York from Venezuela in September. One of 3 teens who, according to police, entered a sporting goods store Thursday evening, stopped by a security guard for allegedly stealing clothes.
Our suspect takes out a .45 caliber handgun, a very large handgun, shoots at her into a crowd, striking a 37-year-old female tourist from Brazil.
The victim telling our affiliate WNBC she heard a loud bang before seeing blood dripping down her leg.
He had no problems firing into a crowd of the store, striking a tourist, not shooting at a cops once, shooting at them twice.
Police say the other 2 teens were also arrested. The incident now part of a troubling trend of moped robberies, snatches, and pickpocketing in New York City.
There are some Venezuelan groups of migrants, I say some, not all, that are affecting crime in our city.
Just yesterday, police releasing this video, allegedly showing a group including migrants kicking and punching 2 New York City police officers.
I just don't like how they're walking on eggshells with these illegal aliens. They have shipped in these military-age men. It's barely women and children. And they want a complete overhaul. They want a complete overhaul of the American population. And it's absolutely ridiculous. It's completely wrong. It's immoral. It's unjust. And these people need to go back to where they came from and build their own countries up.
7 have been charged, with more believed to be on the run. Erin McLaughlin, NBC News, New York.
And right now, breaking news, shoplifting, a shooting, and then parts of Times Square shut down tonight. The search for the gunman is underway. Good evening. I'm Maurice Dubois.
And I'm Christine Johnson. Police wrapped up a news conference just moments ago.
And there is a huge police response and presence as the search continues. We have team coverage for you tonight. Allie Bauman with more on the manhunt. But we begin with Lori Bordenaro with details on how this all began. Lori.
And Maurice, this is where the shooting started, inside JD Sports, and there is still a huge police presence inside. Police tell us this all started around 7 o'clock tonight when 3 shoplifters were caught leaving the store. The loss prevention officer stopped them at the door, asked for receipts, and took their shopping bag. One man took off, another then turned around, grabbed a gun from his shoulder bag, and fired at her.
And these people are doing it boldly, too. And he didn't necessarily fire at her. He was aiming for New York's finest. So just understand that these guys are cop killers, too.
Missed. Instead, police say hitting a tourist from Brazil in the leg. She was taken to the hospital and expected to be okay. Right now, this area around 42nd Street and Broadway remains closed off. The subway here also remains shut down at this hour. We're live in Times Square. Lori Bordenaro, CBS 2 News.
Lori, thank you.
And the search for the suspect is spanning multiple blocks.
CBS 2's Allie Bauman continues our team coverage from the second scene along 6th Avenue. Allie.
And here's the worst part. This guy who shoots a tourist in our great city of New York, he is going to be released within 48 hours. Mark my words. If this guy is released by Soros-funded, Soros-selected DA Alvin Bragg of New York City, then, New Yorkers need to be protesting, screaming in the streets.
Well, Christina, Maurice, 6th Avenue here by 48th Street is back open now, but this is where police say those 2 suspects ran to after fleeing Times Square. And we just got new images of the suspected gunman into our newsroom. I want to show them to you right now. This is who police are looking for tonight, dressed in all white head to toe. He's believed to be about 15 to 20 years old. Police say he and another suspect ran here to 6th Avenue after opening fire in that sporting store. store. The suspected gunman ditched his white jacket and hat on the street. Police were able to catch up with the accomplice and take him into custody, but as they chased the suspected gunman, police say he tried to shoot at an officer twice in a crowd full of people. The officer was not hit and also did not fire back since there were so many people around. That was around 47th Street by 6th Avenue around 7 p.m., which you know can be very crowded at that time. Now, the NYPD had 6th Avenue between 47th and 51st Streets closed off for much of tonight, with counterterrorism officers and NYPD canines searching the area for any indication of where that suspect went. Police did just give an update minutes ago. Take a listen.
Mid-block on 47th Street, there was a cut between the Fox buildings. As the perpetrator goes in there, he turns one time and fires at our officer. Our officer draws his weapon, but he cannot fire. Too many people around us, too many people ducking.
So the officer has the poise and the resolve to not fire back at this super burrito gremlin illegal alien and potentially saves others, while this illegal alien is shooting at will, right? With no regard for human life. Reminds you of someone, right? But I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And the fact that we are harboring and housing these savages in our country is absolutely, I mean, it's a disgrace. It is a disgrace. We need mass deportation. We need to open up the floodgates of ICE and just let them go to work.
As the male with the white goes further into the cut, under his armpit, he fires his second shot on our officer. Again, our officer does not return fire. The perpetrator runs into the subway on 46th and 6th, where we have video of him going around tracks. Then he comes back out of the subway. Right now, we do not have him apprehended.
And again, right now, police are questioning the suspected accomplice at the precinct, but the gunman is still at large, and the NYPD says they have crews scouring the area for any sign of that gunman. For now, we're live in Midtown. Allie Bauman, CBS 2 News.
All right, Allie, thank you. And as we mentioned, there were road closures in and around this area. Let's check in with Dan Rice. He's in Chopper 2 with the latest on that. Dan?
And Christine, of course, one of the busiest areas in all of New York, the Broadway district right here, and you also have the Knicks down at the Garden. You had 42nd Street closed down here. We bring the camera back out. You can see a large police scene down there. 42nd still shut down in both directions between 7th and 6th Avenues. Not affecting traffic too bad. Broadway also shut down through the area here. We'll bring the camera out a little bit wider. You can see around 1 Times Square, traffic building up on 7th Avenue. But again, police concentrating over here, as Ali said, 6th Avenue. That's reopened. That's a good news there, but still some congestion in the Times Square area. Reporting live in Chopper 2, Dan Rice, CBS 2 News.
Dan, thank you, and do stay with.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
Tonight, a 15-year-old migrant under arrest accused of shooting and injuring a tourist in a packed Times Square. The boy also accused of firing at officers after he and 2 other teens allegedly tried to shoplift from a sporting goods store Thursday night.
Just like we promised, less than 24 hours later, he's locked up and off our streets.
Yeah, and he's locked up, but he's going to be released with no bail. I mean, it's absolutely, it's funny how, you know, obviously the police don't have a choice as to who gets released with no bail and whatnot, but as you guys can see, it's just the mockery of the justice system that has been created within the past few years. Honestly, it's astounding.
The injured tourist from Brazil telling NBC New York, "I believe this was just an unfortunate incident. It could have happened anywhere in the world." Police say the suspect entered the country from Venezuela in September and was living in a temporary shelter for migrants. He had fled the scene last night and was apprehended today. It's the second high-profile crime involving migrants in Times Square. New body camera footage has now been released from last month's attack on police officers. The footage shows just how the incident started, with officers trying to get a group of migrants to leave before the suspects tell police to stop touching them as they walk away. One of the officers pushing a suspect against a wall as spectators tell each other to record. As an officer tries to detain the man in...
And look at these people defending these illegal aliens who are terrorizing our city. Absolutely disgusting. Record, record, police brutality. Dude, get out of here.
Yellow, a fight breaks out as other suspects jump in. After days of criticism, the district attorney announcing the indictments of 7 people related to that assault.
Based on our thorough investigation, I stand here.
There he goes. The man who is releasing these animals back into the streets. It's ridiculous.
Today, confident that we have identified the roles of every person who broke the law and participated in this heinous attack.
Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg was under fire for earlier releasing 4 of them without bail. But now the DA, along with the New York City mayor, defending their actions.
Our job is to follow the facts, build cases that stand in the court of law.
The migrant crisis...
The fact is that we have these assaults on video.
Now dominating headlines and creating a climate of fear that's fueling more crime.
Now, the NYPD doesn't specifically keep track of which crimes are committed by undocumented residents, but records show migrants living in New York City centers were arrested 1,200 times last year. That's linked to just 15% of the city's facilities. Still, Mayor Eric Adams pushing back on the perception that many or even most migrants are out there committing crimes.
The overwhelming number, over 170,000, they want to finish their next leg of their journey of pursuing the American dream. But there is a small minority that's participating in illegal behavior.
A recent Stanford study showing immigrants are 30% less likely to be incarcerated than white U.S.-born citizens.
They've taken over.
But still, fears and tensions running high. On Tuesday, this moment unfolding live on Fox News.
Our guys have just taken down one of the migrant guys right here on the corner.
When the leader of the group known as the Guardian Angels was doing a live interview, members of the group shoved a man, immediately calling him a migrant and accusing him of shoplifting. But the NYPD saying later that the man is an American from the Bronx and making no mention of shoplifting.
So as you guys can see, people are frustrated in there trying to figure out what exactly is going on here. And, you know, innocent people get caught in that wake. And that is wrong. And that's why we shouldn't have this problem in the first place. But, you know, you can't just go up to random people and try and, you know, do vigilante justice, obviously. But when the justice system is not doing their job, then you're going to see more of this. So I really hope that they get their stuff together.
Unfortunately, we've been warning about this. The more you use dangerous and violent language and misinformation, the more potential there is for dangerous and violent actions to occur.
Stephen Romo joins us now live on set. Stephen, I think it was important to point out those stats from Stanford about the real crime rates historically with migrants in the United States. But I do want to ask you about that incident with the Guardian Angels. What eventually happened there?
Yeah, police showed up. The NYPD is looking into this. They did say that the man who was not a migrant was issued a summons for being loud when they actually got on scene. I do want to point out, though, that the leader of the Guardian Angels did post an apology today, taking responsibility for misidentifying that man as a migrant, and did end up apologizing for that.
But the crime, what's happening here with the Guardian Angels, it speaks to the chaos happening right now with migrants here in the city. Okay, thank you for that, Stephen.
All right, guys, so here's a video of the illegal alien, the super burrito gremlin of the hour getting arrested. And it looks like he's pretty remorseful, but I really don't care. He needs to suffer the consequences of his actions. You see you crying. He crying, but I don't see no tears. I guess that's his mama hooping and hollering. You should have got your son. And now here are the police speaking on the matter, and we'll just leave this here.
We're here to make good on a promise that the NYPD will always keep. If you think you could attack a member of this department, if you think you could threaten the lives of the very people who keep us safe, if you think you could put others at deadly risk and get away with it, then think again. We will never stop pursuing you. We will find you and we will arrest you. And then we will do everything in our power to bring you to justice. The shooting incident last night in Times Square was way beyond reckless. In the middle of the busiest, most highly trafficked part of this city, a criminal with a firearm decided to pull the trigger. He shot at a store security guard who had stopped him for shoplifting, striking and injuring an innocent bystander. He shot the NYPD officers who pursued him through the streets of Midtown without a single thought of who he might hit or who he might kill.
He didn't care.
7 p.m., Times Square area, 42nd Street subway entrance. Hundreds of our city's members enjoying the evening. Really good buzz around the city. Our shooter, no regard for uniformed police or anyone in the area. It's really as reckless as we've seen.
And as always, our cops will continue running toward the danger and putting themselves in between the threat and the threatened. That's our job, and nobody does it better than the NYPD.
Again, in less than 24 hours, our teams removed a very, very violent subject that had zero reservations about firing shots and endangering our great public.
I'm Oren Levy from Viral News NYC. What's the severity of these gangs, and are they connected to any murders here or in other states?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when you talk gangs, we monitor every gang in the city. You know, every gang in the city is going to be monitored. Right now, we're not seeing connectivity with homicides and the like, but obviously we treat all gangs the same. We treat them accordingly, and if they break the law, we'll be sure to do that.
Thank you, Detective.
The men and women of the NYPD will never accept violence. We will never abide lawlessness, and we will never tolerate attacks on our cops.
Yeah, but as you guys saw with the no cash bail, they actually did accept attacks on the cops. So, I mean, it sounds good, but is that what is happening in reality? No. What's happening in reality is that these super burrito gremlins are on demon time.
Gang violence and other kind of